Jacqueline, hey, congratulations on your new movie, Magic Hour.
You. Thanks.
Such a delight watching it, and it feels so real. But first of all, congratulations! It's being showcased here at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. How do you feel about that?
I am so thrilled and honored to have a world premiere today at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Everyone here has been so warm and lovely. The place is gorgeous. The festival is a legend. So I couldn't be happier, really. It's a dream come true.
Well said, well said. So tell us where the original idea came from for Magic Hour. What actually sparked this for you to make this movie?
I can tell you what happened. I didn't really intend for this to happen, but here's what happened. So I decided in my 40s to reclaim a long lost dream and go to film school. So I actually did that. I went to the NYU graduate film program, which I loved. And I had no intention to make a movie about it, but I had such a great time. And I thought, this is something that a lot of people do. They have a long lost dream and they sort of push it aside for years and years and years, maybe never even get around to doing it at all. And I was just so happy that I took the risk and then had this crazy adventure in film school. It was so much fun. It was so interesting because all the reasons I had kind of procrastinated and pushed that dream aside all came at me. I had to face all those things. It wasn't just all perfect, but it's really rewarding to do that. So it actually was inspired by true events.
That is a wonderful and especially the fact that you have a production within a production for this film, and it's very meta. How do you handle something like that? Because being a part as a true story, this is basically you're replaying everything that you just lived through and directing it while directing and acting everything else. It is so many layers.
There's so many layers, and you're so right about that. And obviously, it's not a documentary. I made up almost all of it, except for that one little part that I told you about, because my actual life is way too boring. You could never make a movie about it. But in terms of the layers, like one thing about there are a bunch of films within the film, like you said, we shot those on actual film, which was pretty cool because we wanted a distinction about real life and then this kind of heightened dream of cinema, like this kind of heightened life that is more the artistic version. So we wanted to distinguish those things. But also, I did something else that you probably noticed, which is I exaggerated slightly the different things. So I exaggerated the main character's life at the beginning, which is like pretty brutal suburban nightmare. And then I kind of exaggerated like the dream of film school, like it's super beautiful and perfect. And then I exaggerated slightly in the next sequence the nightmare of being on a professional set and how cutthroat everyone is. So I felt like I wanted to heighten it just a little for dramatic purposes.
I
So it's
was
real, but it's not real, if you know what I mean.
I was gonna say because when someone that aren't in the industry could be watching a film like this and think that, oh, is this what following your dreams is actually like in the industry? I mean, you're in this industry. Tell us, how easy or tough is it really?
Okay, well, here's the thing. It's amazing and it's a dream, and some days you just feel like you're living this beautiful dream. I have to say, being out here in Santa Barbara, I feel like I'm walking on air and it's just magical. And then there's some days like on set, for example, everything goes wrong. And it's like a nightmare. And you're like, oh, I lost a location. I actually am missing a couple actors. And you're like, I can't do this. How do I even survive for the next like 7 minutes? I've got, I don't know, 50 people on set expecting me to direct a scene and we're missing all these things. So it's such an extreme. But then for some reason, you start to ride those waves and then it's really exciting. So you get through the low moments, you have a great team and everyone kind of figures it out. We get a new location, we get some actors. I mean, I put our PAs in scenes. My parents are in various scenes because I'm like, I need a person like right there. Could you just get in there? So you just kind of figure it out. So yeah, a lot of highs and lows, but life is more exciting that way, I think.
So let's be honest, what kind of director are you? Are you that very nice director or the tough one?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, meta again, it's a question in the movie is in order to be a strong leader, do you have to be Attila the Hun and be mean the way people think you should be in a leadership position? Or, and this is what I'm advocating in the movie, is there the transformative power of kindness in leadership where you kind of bring people together and you kind of bring out their strengths and you bring in togetherness, which I think can be infinitely more powerful because it's not just one person kind of terrifying everyone, which is a certain form of leadership, but it's bringing out the best in folks. And I don't want to give away the ending of the movie, but there's power in that. And I think kindness does not equal weakness. I think kindness is strength. And I certainly tried very hard to live that on set and be kind to everyone and listen to everyone's voices. And I think the movie was infinitely better because so many people gave everything they had to this movie in a way that has been truly magical, I will say.
Well, then speak of the people who gave everything they have. Tell us about your delightful cast.
My cast is amazing. I mean, the heartbeat of the movie is Miriam Short. She's in practically every frame. I will say every take was amazing, which made it hard to edit because she's so good that you want to use every take, which you can't do. So she was amazing. She got the comedy, she got the drama, she got the soulfulness of the character, and she was absolutely astonishing to work with. And Senthil Ramamurthy is just beautiful inside and out. He's just one of the most lovely human beings. And he and Miriam had an incredible dynamic together on set. So that we're really lucky about that. Cameron Morton, who plays the daughter, she's coming in today, who's also a wonderful director, producer herself, she was amazing. And they, as mother daughter, they worked perfectly. And I could not have predicted that. Josh Stamberg, who's here in Santa Barbara, is hilarious as the husband, the cad. I think we can call him a cad. But you love him anyway because he's really charming. So I mean, I could go on. So many incredible people were in this movie, and they were incredible collaborators.
Now, I have to ask, is the little snippet movie that you actually have to create that inspires her to follow her dreams. As an independent movie, how do you create something like that and tell us about the aesthetics that you wanted it to make that as a dream sequence?
That's a very good question because that came late in the game. So I'll actually tell you what happened. That was a scene that did not work at first. And it's kind of a good question to ask because I wrote that. It's early on in the movie. I wrote that to be sort of a quote cheesy scene, like kind of bad, and and then just a little bit funny, like bad funny. Didn't work. It's at the beginning of the movie, and I remember my niece saw an early cut, and she's like, "Ooh, I saw that first scene, and I thought Jackie's not a very good filmmaker." And I thought, okay, I got to rethink that one. So what I did was I recut it so that we had the kind of good acting moments, not the over the top, which I thought would be funny, but kind of didn't work. I got the more grounded acting, and then I swapped out the English for French because Harriet's dream of cinema is a little bit aligned with the old French style. It's a little heightened. And all of a sudden we turned it and we did the color in a certain old fashioned way. And even though if you look closely, it's modern. Um, we kind of had this dream of cinema idea that associated with French cinema and that associated with her kind of dreams that aren't really real yet. I don't know if you remember the part on the windows, the projections onto the windows, but it's like
Yeah.
her imagination more than reality. That all came really late in post
Mm.
because we were trying to solve a problem. Like that, those projections, that was never in the script. That came later. But it's funny that you asked that question because that was actually a problem for a little while. And then I think our post-production folks worked it out and turned a problem into something that I'm actually really happy with now.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out because you made a wonderful movie, Jacqueline. So thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about the Magic Hour and have fun in Santa Barbara.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.